Thanks for Mark Honor. Whatever the game, it's okay to lose. Ooh, sometimes, as long as you learn from every game you choose. Thank you. Those are the wise words of Prince, which I've used for the past several years to describe life as a Philadelphia sports fan. And for those of you who can remember my sister's speech from 2 years ago, it should now be crystal clear as to where the vocal abilities wound up in our family. Ever since one fateful day in grade school when I waltzed up to my neighbor Billy Baldock's house and announced that I no longer liked the Red Sox, Celtics, Patriots, Bruins, Revolution, basically anything featured regularly on NESN, I've been a Philadelphia sports fan trapped in the very heart of Red Sox Nation. This decision has never brought me immense popularity among my fellow New Englanders, but over time, most of my peers have come to tolerate my seemingly random love for teams from Philadelphia. Still, I often find myself being asked, why Philadelphia? The answer is actually quite simple. My dad's side of the family has its roots in the city of brotherly love, and his parents still reside there, so the professional sports brethren of Philadelphia were my next best option. That and the fact that baseball is my favorite sport means my favorite team is the Philadelphia Phillies, which is also the one with the most losses of any professional sports franchise, 10,099 according to PhillySucks.com. Which is to say that my time as a Phillies fan has not always been an enjoyable experience. Believe me, there have been many nights where I would ask myself through the tears if this is really what I signed up for. But the answer is always yes. Sure, to the untrained eye, being a Phillies fan may seem like a waste of time. 2 World Series championships in 126 years? Not exactly impressive, nor anything to be too proud of. But because of everything I have gained from being a Phillies fan, I would never change a thing. Of course, I couldn't have gained anything if I hadn't sacrificed a little bit as well. Financially, being a Phillies fan in Maine is, simply put, idiotic. First of all, getting any official Phillies apparel costs a little bit extra than Red Sox gear because of a little slice of heaven known as shipping and handling. Then there's the challenge of watching as many games as possible. Given that NESN doesn't really care too much about Philadelphia sports, the only way to accomplish this is by shelling out $160 at the beginning of each season for MLB.TV. This dedication is more than just a financial struggle, however. My first draft of this very speech was turned in 2 days late because the Phillies were in the World Series. My college applications are also due, but that's important. And I can distinctly remember numerous times last spring when I had no choice but to watch a Phillies game instead of doing my Spanish 4 homework for Dr. Torado. And believe me, I paid the price there. So maybe all I've learned from being a Phillies fan is how to be wasteful and how to manage time poorly. But I still would never change my views back to how they were before the turn of the millennium. After all, if I change my mind, what will I do with all the merchandise that I've collected over the past several years? There's the blue batting practice jersey that I received as a gift for my 17th birthday. And of course, there's the Phillies jacket that I got as a Christmas present. And then there are the hats. I'm the proud and rightful owner of over 30 baseball-style caps, and I wear about 9 of them in regular circulation. This one is for mowing lawns and other circumstances involving sweat. This one is for pink shirts and ties, since the red ones don't go very well with those outfits. This one, same reason for maroon get-ups. These two are for looking good on the weekends. the team. This is my going out hat, and I wear it when I want to look nice. And finally, there's the newest addition to my collection, the one I'm proudest of, the official 2008 World Series Champions hat. I bought this beauty some 15 minutes after the Phillies clinched their first championship in 28 years, but still didn't receive it in the mail until 2 weeks later, proving that even when they win, the Phillies are not high priority for the rest of the world. Nevertheless, it serves as a perfect compliment for this World Champions t-shirt my dad gave me. And this one my grandfather sent 2 days later. Now some may say that hats should not be worn indoors because it's disrespectful, but I know that my hats are equally as important to an outfit as any other garment. You see, hats have always been an integral part of my life. Perhaps I owe it to my sister Gracie, who as a young tomboy seldom removed her Little League cap. Nowadays she doesn't wear hats too often, but I wear mine almost permanently. Great story that manifests my devotion to hats took place this past summer during my 2-week stay at American University. After taking a shower one day, I was walking through the hallways of my dorm, covered from the waist down by only a towel and holding my hat and clothes in hand. One girl who had been standing outside of her room took notice of this spectacle and proceeded to herald to the rest of the dorm, "Peter's not wearing his hat!" While it may seem strange to some that I was noticed for not wearing a hat before I was noticed for not having a shirt on, this truly represents one of the most satisfying moments of recent memory. Of course, there are other memories which will last much longer than that one. I'm sure that for the rest of my life I will fondly recall March 31st, 2008, when my father, grandfather, cousin, and I went to the Phillies season opener. Though the Phillies lost that game, it will remain for a long time as the greatest sporting event which I have ever attended. What made it so memorable was the way the prior season had ended, with the fighting Phils somehow beating out the New York Mets on the last day of the season to clinch a playoff berth. Though they were subsequently swept out of the playoffs by the Colorado Rockies, the energy at Citizens Bank Park was incredible when the season commenced on that bitter spring afternoon. Finally, there was, of course, the agonizing playoff run of 2008, which some 4 weeks after it began, ended in pure jubilation on the night of October 29th, as the Phillies beat the Tampa Bay Rays 4-3 to clinch the city's first major sports championship in 25 years. Since I started off this speech with a Prince quote, it just makes sense to send you all off with a Queen lyric, which I've been waiting to recite for my entire life. And with Radledge's strikeout of Eric Hinsky to end Game 5, I was finally able to do just that, oh so shamelessly. And feel free to sing along if you know the words. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting.